seconds over that, they decided to readjust it and added on another 8 seconds. Now Hill's Musician is through. Jill Cochran over her first jump. Again, speed the factor, as she goes over the wishing well and prepares to head back up course. Remember, she keeps the red flags on her right.
Now you can see she's taking advantage more of her turns and to be galloping the course. They have a junior jumper stake class coming up, which is not a speed class, Dawn. And I think these junior riders want to be a little careful that they don't get their horses perhaps a little careless before that stake class.
Sharp turn there for the sixth jump, now approaching the wall, number 7. Over easily. Hill's Musician, Jill Cochran of Liverpool. Final jump, and she'll head for home after going downhill once more.
These are 3 tight turns right in a row here. The horse has slipped on her in that turn. Ground's a bit hard, although there's good footing. She's through her finish line.
Hill's Musician, the fastest time so far, 55.51 seconds. And a clean round.
Clean performance at a time of 55.5.
That's now official, Dawn.
55.51 was the time.
The next horse coming in the ring.
123, red alert. It's Joanne Nicholson of Halifax. 123, red alert.
You'll notice this year, Don, we're seeing a number of horses that weren't involved in the junior jumper competition last year here at Westphal. A number of new purchases, new riders coming into the scene.
Red alert with Joanne Nicholson. Halifax horse. Just over 16 hands high, 6-year-old, chestnut gelding.
This is a new horse for Miss Nicholson, Dawn. She does most of her training actually in PEI during the summer months. They have a summer residence over there.
This?
Over the 5th jump, halfway through the course. Now this sharp turn coming back uphill for jump number 6. No troubles there for Joanne Nicholson. And red alert.
This is a type of competition, Dawn, where it's very important that your horse answer to your rein when you ask. You'll notice her horse is fighting her just a little bit on some of those turns. She's had a refusal at that fence. Be over it easily. You can see the horse fighting her rein there.
The refusal costs 3 jumping faults, so that puts red alert not among the leaders, and that won't help her either.
Okay, this is a poor judgment on Miss Nicholson's part because she cut too tight in front of the wall, and therefore she was trying to jump at too steep an angle to her fence.
Trying to make up time, and didn't work. Another 4 jumping faults there, plus the 3 for the refusal. So red alert has pretty well knocked down the final jump and knocked herself out of competition here. Has Joanne Nicholson, her time 83.04, so that's well over the 68-second time limit.
She's encountered a number of faults as well.
Right. It'll take a while to total those up, I would imagine.
We'll have to wait and see what the judges do where she jumped the fence before it was reset as well.
Now she can stop, and the time will stop while they readjust the fence, or does the time continue? Yeah, she was a good 16 seconds over, so the time faults added on to the jumping faults brought her total to 17 faults in total for red alert and Joanne Nicholson. Getting back to that, the point about the jumps, will they stop the clock while they fix the jumps, or does she have to continue letting the clock run?
I'm not really sure, Don, to tell you the truth. In a speed class, we'd have to investigate, I think, before the other speed class comes up. In a straight open jumper competition, then the jump would have to be reset before she went over. This is Junior Wardo in the ring, entry number 48, owned and ridden by Miss Jan Tuddy of Liverpool.
See Junior Wardo wearing a pair of mittens on the front hooves there.
Well, not quite mittens. Those are called overreach boots. So sometimes your horses will be tracking up too much in the hind legs, and so they don't get injuries on their front legs. They wear protective boots. And usually most people riding jumpers do take the precaution of using protective boots.
Clear so far as she approaches the wall, jump number 7. Now those final tight 3 jumps, as Junior Wardrow has a good round going so far. Takes the last one wide, preferring to make the jump instead of making up time. And Junior Wardrow is through in 58.67 seconds, which will put her unofficially in 2nd place.
Clean performance, time of 58.67. Clean performance, time of 58.67. Train number 78, Katrina. Owned and ridden by Miss Karen Giffen, Melbourne Square, Kings County. And train number 78, Katrina.
Now on the course, Katrinka with Karen Giffen of Kingston. And Katrinka is a veteran at the Westphal District Horse Show and a veteran of our sports ed coverage. She was on the very first horse show we did back in July of 1978.
And this mare's a veteran and still doing well, Dawn. Karen's older sister started out on this mare a number of years ago in the junior division. Handy horse. She's not a large horse, but she's quite handy with her feet, and she's able to place herself quite well around turns.
Of course, with speed the deciding factor in this particular course, and I suppose it wouldn't really have to be that big a horse to make it over with little difficulty, and Katrinka is proving that so far through the 7th jump the wall there with no faults. Working on a pretty good time, 45 seconds now, so she should be in well under the 68-second time allotment. Again, she takes number 7 in stride, going around it to approach 10 and finishing with a time of 55.53, which puts her very close to the top.
Performance in a time of 55.53. 55.53.
So that would place her 2/100ths of a second behind Hill's Musician in the competition so far, unofficially in 2nd place.
You could notice too, Don, in that horse's round that the mare was much smoother on her approach and on the turns. She wasn't fighting a rider, and I think that's where you can see the experience really comes in after a while.
Now the Mississippi Gambler, ridden by Scott Saunders of Liverpool. 9-year-old chestnut gelding.
This is Scott's first year with the Mississippi Gambler Junior competition, and from the other shows that have been held so far this year in the Nova Scotia circuit, he's been doing quite well. Scott's green and looking for experience in the junior jumper division.
Scott Saunders heading back uphill over the 6th jump, taking it wide, cutting down on his time, then over the wall, number 7. Now those 3 tight turns, he's a little bit behind schedule set by Hill's Musician and Katrinka as he approaches the 9th jump at 53 seconds. Going wide around 7 to approach 10. And picking up 4 jumping faults on his very last jump is Mississippi Gambler. 63.58 seconds his time, so he is under time, but those 4 jumping faults will place him a little further down in the pack than he would have liked.
If you look at the layout of the outdoor ring here today, Dawn, there is a bit of a grade to it, uphill and downhill, and this will affect how you ride your horse on a course. Generally, your horse is moving on a little more on their forehand going downhill, so you might have to check your horse's pace just a little bit going into a fence. Going uphill, you have to push them on a little more. It's a little harder for them to push off their hind quarters. So there are quite a few factors that are involved in getting a horse from one side of a fence to the other side.
Not the least of which is courage, I suppose. Junior Jumper, the Table A speed class, and we are about halfway through.
Number 85, Pioneer Lady. This Margo McDonald with oversized PDI. Number 85, Pioneer Lady.
Here's a horse we've seen before as well, Dawn. She was with us last year at the Westphal District Horse Show.
Pioneer Lady, 7-year-old bay mare, Margot McDonald riding. She's from Summerside, PEI. Summerside has a recent history of horse-making news, with the fastest harness racing mile in the Maritime so far this year set just last Saturday evening. I shouldn't say that. We're taping this for a later broadcast, so it was actually the Governor's Plate earlier this summer. Saul's Pride setting that time of 2:01.
The PEI has always been known for its horses.
Pioneer Lady, through clean, 8 jumps, over 9. She's cutting it sharply into 10.
She took a gamble, and it worked.
And
Very
she's
clever
in.
riding.
48.76 seconds. That would put her in first place. Pioneer Lady, no jumping faults, and a time of 48.76 to put her in first place by a good 7.6 so far. It's a 7-second lead so far for Margot McDonald and Pioneer Lady.
Somebody, we fix your muffler expertly, guaranteed to take you for as long as you will.
Pioneer Lady, Hills Musician, and Katrinka in that order in the junior jumper speed class.
Okay, we'll be moving on now, John, to class number 25, which is the preliminary intermediate open combined jumper speed class. Now this will be the same type of class as we have just watched. However, it's open to the open horses. The open jumpers we'll be seeing later on this afternoon.